Hello. Today we have a learning from Rav Tzvi Kushalevsky on the Torah. This sefer, Rav Tzvi Kushalevsky on the Torah, on that it's a mitzvah to be attached to Torah scholars, to learn from them, to have connections with them, and also about being children of HaShem. Let's take a look at it right now. Attachment to Torah scholars. Uvosid bok, and it says to HaShem, to him you shall cleave, you shall attach yourself. You shall cleave to him, to HaShem. Devarim 10:20. Can one really cleave to HaShem? After all, it is written that HaShem, your God, is a consuming fire. So of course, how can we cleave to somebody so as awesome as that? Rather, this means that there is a mitzvah to cleave to Talmidei Chachamim, Kesuvos 111b. So this means that there is a mitzvah to cleave to Torah scholars, to Talmidei Chachamim. One who walks with the wise will become wise, Mishlei 13:20. Shlomo HaMelech cautions a person to place himself in a social environment together with wise people, and to avoid a group of fools. He is to constantly walk with the wise and subordinate himself to them. Rabbeinu Bachaya, Introduction to Parshas Lech Lecha. The literal meaning of the pasuk from Devarim above is that we must cleave to HaShem. Yet the Gemara understood this as a mitzvah to cleave to the Chachamim, to the Torah scholars, because they provide us with guidance and wisdom as to how best to connect with Hashem. Only through the Chachamim, through the Torah scholars, can we learn how best to connect with Hashem. The Rambam follows the Gemara's understanding in his Hilchos Deos 6:2. But if this is the intent of the Torah, why doesn't the pasuk simply say, "You shall cleave to the Chachamim"? It says, "You shall cleave to him." The answer can be found in the comment of Rabbeinu Bachaya. The only way to be influenced by the Chachamim and the only way to be inspired by them is if you view them as greater than yourself. If, however, you regard them as equals or even inferior to yourself, you will never learn from them as you should. Only when we make ourselves subordinate to the Chachamim do we begin to learn from them. This is why the pasuk employs language which speaks of cleaving to Hashem. For not only are we being taught that the only way to cleave to Hashem is by cleaving to his Chachamim, but we are also being instructed about how to cleave to the Chachamim. We have to first realize that they are far from being our peers in their relationship to Hashem. Only then can we learn from them and be uplifted and inspired accordingly. In other words, yes, it's a mitzvah to accompany the Talmidei Chachamim, to be with them, but also we have to view them as being above us in their relationship to Hashem, that we have much to learn from them. So in other words, this is the attitude we have to have, that they are the Chachamim and they know the ways of Hashem, and we have to learn from them. This is so in other words, that we are subordinate to them, that we are the only way is that we view them as being greater than us, not our equals, and certainly not inferior to us, God forbid. So this is how we learn. We should attach ourselves to the Chachamim, and this way we can learn to fear Hashem, and also, but we have to have the knowledge that the Chachamim know much better than us the ways of HaShem, and we can learn, and this is the way that we can learn from them. And that is from parshas Eikev. This is from parshas Eikev. And then we have parshas Re'eh. We have something here. Children of HaShem. You are children to HaShem. Banim atem LaHaShem. You are children to HaShem. Devarim 14:1. Deuteronomy 14:1. You are the children to HaShem. HaShem said to the Jewish people, when are you called my children? When you perform my mitzvos and study the Torah. Devarim Rabbah 7:9. This medrash continues with a parable about a traveling prince and his father the king. The prince was concerned that in his travels he might not be recognized as the son of the king. The king he was concerned that on his travels he might not be recognized as the son of the king. The king reassured him by providing his son with royal clothes and a crown. In a similar way, the Jews are recognized as Hashem's children by their Torah and mitzvos. This beautiful midrash, however, seems to contradict the Gemara's teaching that either way we are called children of Hashem, whether we are performing mitzvos or not. So in other words, why do we say only when we are performing the Torah and the mitzvos? So Kiddushin 36a. So the resolution is that our medrash is not giving the criteria for being called Hashem's children. Rather, it is outlining how we show that we are his children. So we have to show that we are the children of Hashem. People know we are his children through our performance of mitzvos and study of Torah. In the parable, Torah is likened to clothes of royalty. This is because Torah makes a person regal. It changes and refines him such that he becomes a different person. In this vein, we are taught the one who teaches someone else Torah is considered as if he had given birth to him. For a Torah teacher creates people anew via Torah, Sanhedrin 19b. So in other words, if one is able to teach Torah and he influences somebody in the Torah way, the good way, so he is considered as if he was the father of that person, as if that person was his son. Indeed, one who studies Torah is referred to as a Ben Torah, son of Torah, because he creates himself anew by studying Torah. So one can even create oneself by studying the Torah and doing what it says. One who studies Torah is referred to as a Ben Torah, the son of the Torah, because he creates himself anew by studying Torah. So the Torah refines one's character, and by studying it and doing what it says, doing the will of Hashem, one can refine himself, and that's how you can really show in a good way that one is a child of Hashem. So, children of Hashem, that's from parshas Re'eh, and attachment to Torah scholars. This is from parshas Eikev. This is the Torah, the Divrei Torah of Rav Tzvi Kushalevsky on the Torah. Rav Tzvi Kushalevsky on the Torah. This is from Israel Bookshop Publishers. Thank you very much. A good Chodesh and a good year. Have a good year. Kol Tov.